What if the place you trust most, your bedroom, your sanctuary, your safe haven, was actually working against you every single night? What if, without realizing it, your body was being quietly drained, your sleep sabotaged, and your health slowly worn down? All from something sitting just inches from your pillow. This isn't science fiction. It's a silent truth that every adult over 60 deserves to hear. Because even if you eat well, take your medications, and do everything your doctor says, you may still be waking up tired, foggy, or achy, and the reason might be hiding right there beside your bed. In this video, I'll reveal 5 hidden sources of radiation in your bedroom that could be silently weakening your body night after night. And more importantly, I'll show you the simple changes you can make today to reclaim the deep healing sleep your body is begging for. Before we dive in, tell me in the comments, where are you watching from and what time is it right now in your part of the world? It may seem like a small gesture, but it means a lot to me to connect with you personally. And if you find this content helpful, please hit that subscribe button so you never miss another health tip made just for you. Let's get into it. The bedroom, your body's nighttime battlefield. Your bedroom should be the calmest, safest place in your home, a place of peace, rest, and healing, a space where your body can fully recharge for the day ahead. But for many older adults, especially those over 65, that the same sacred space is unknowingly working against them. And the scariest part, you won't hear it. You won't smell it. You won't see a warning sign glowing in red. Instead, the danger hums quietly, invisibly, right next to your head. That trusted digital alarm clock you've had on your nightstand for years, it might be doing more harm than good, especially if it's plugged into the wall right beside your bed. Let me explain why. Most digital clocks, especially those that stay plugged in 24/7, emit electromagnetic fields, also known as EMFs. These aren't beams of light or loud noises. EMFs are invisible, silent energy fields that radiate from electronic devices. And from the moment that device is powered on, those fields never stop day or night. Now imagine this: your brain, your nervous system, your immune system, being exposed to low-level radiation just 6 to 12 inches away from your head every single night. It's not dramatic to say this quiet exposure creates stress on your cells even while you sleep. Aging bodies, greater risks. Here's where it gets even more serious. As we age, our bodies lose some of their ability to recover from daily stress. Our cells don't repair as efficiently. Our immune system doesn't respond as quickly. And our natural barriers against environmental damage begin to thin. That means the same radiation that might barely affect a teenager can hit a 70-year-old body much harder, especially during sleep when the brain is supposed to be restoring itself. Instead of experiencing deep healing rest, your body ends up fighting a quiet battle, working overtime, trying to repair itself under the influence of something it can't see, can't touch, but still deeply feels. Have you ever wondered why you still feel groggy even after a full 8 hours of sleep? Why you wake up with that heavy feeling behind your eyes, or why your mornings often start with a dull headache or brain fog that refuses to lift? These symptoms are often brushed off as normal aging. But what if they're not normal at all? What if they're just the result of something very fixable? Evelyn's story, a wake-up call. Let me tell you about Evelyn. She's a 73-year-old retired school teacher from Oregon. Kind-hearted, sharp-witted, and the kind of person who always follows the rules. She went to bed early, avoided caffeine, even practiced meditation. She did everything right. But still, every morning, Evelyn woke up exhausted. Her nights were restless. Her days were filled with fatigue and persistent headaches. Doctors couldn't find anything wrong. Maybe it's just part of getting older, they said. But Evelyn wasn't convinced. One afternoon, she stumbled upon an article about EMF exposure in the bedroom. Curious, she took a closer look at her nightstand. And there it was, her digital clock, plugged in, right next to her pillow, less than a foot from her head. She decided to do a small experiment. She swapped the digital clock for a simple battery-powered analog model and moved it across the room. Within 4 nights, everything changed. She slept through the night without interruption. Her headaches vanished. The brain fog disappeared. It felt like a curtain had been lifted, she told her daughter. I didn't realize how long I'd been living under a cloud. The science behind the fog. Evelyn's story isn't just anecdotal, it's backed by science. Multiple studies now suggest that EMF exposure, especially during sleep, can interfere with your brain's production of melatonin. Melatonin isn't just the hormone that helps you fall asleep. It's also a powerful antioxidant that supports your immune system and regulates inflammation. When your body doesn't produce enough melatonin, the effects ripple far beyond just restless nights. You become more vulnerable to illness, your mood can suffer, and your brain's ability to repair itself is compromised. Sleep isn't just rest, it's your body's most critical recovery period. And EMFs, even at low levels, can disrupt that process night after night. The first step to take tonight. So, what can you do? Start small. Start smart. Replace your digital alarm clock with a battery-operated or wind-up model. These clocks tell time just as accurately without emitting any electromagnetic radiation. If for any reason you need to keep a digital clock, move it at least 6 feet away from your bed. That little bit of distance makes a big difference, especially for seniors whose bodies are more sensitive to these invisible stressors. It may seem like a tiny adjustment, but tiny changes often lead to life-changing results. Think of it as creating a clean, quiet space for your body to truly rest, rebuild, and recharge. Why it matters now more than ever. Every signal your body gives you, every headache, every restless night, every moment of unexplained fatigue is a message. Sometimes the problem isn't within you. Sometimes it's just a few inches away, glowing softly in the dark. And when you finally give your body the low-stress, radiation-free space it needs to heal, something magical happens. You wake up clear-headed. Your mood lifts. Even daily tasks like cooking breakfast or remembering where you put your glasses feel easier. Because better sleep isn't just about how many hours you spend in bed, it's about the quality of those hours. And when your sleep improves, everything else does too. Energy, focus, heart health, immune strength. You deserve that kind of rest. You deserve to wake up feeling truly refreshed. So tonight, just try one simple thing. Move the clock. Give your body the gift of silence and space. You may be surprised how much it changes. Deep inside your body lies one of its most important protective systems, the blood-brain barrier. It acts like a finely tuned security filter, blocking harmful substances from entering your brain's delicate environment. But here's the thing, as we get older, this barrier naturally becomes thinner, more porous, and less reliable. That means the brain, your body's command center, is more exposed to outside threats than ever before. And in the modern home, one of the most underestimated threats is pulsed radio frequency radiation. That includes the waves emitted from your Wi-Fi router, which often operates 24 hours a day just a few feet away from where your head rests each night. Sound a little too close for comfort? That's because it is. The effects of this exposure aren't hypothetical anymore. They're showing up in real people's lives. Especially in older adults whose biological defenses are already slower and more fragile. While you're sleeping, when your body should be entering deep repair mode, those low-level EMFs may be interfering with the healing process. Right at the moment, it matters most. It's not unusual for seniors to wake up feeling groggy, emotionally flat, or mentally clouded even after a full night in bed. And while it's tempting to blame it all on age, sometimes it's actually your brain sending a quiet distress signal telling you that something invisible is disrupting its natural rhythm. We now know from scientific studies that long-term EMF exposure may affect memory increase, heart rate variability, a sign of stress on your nervous system, and suppress the production of melatonin, that vital hormone, that not only helps you sleep deeply, but also regulates inflammation, boosts immune function, and even protects the heart. Meet Stanley, a 71-year-old retired engineer from Michigan, smart, analytical, and always fascinated by the latest tech gadgets. His home was a proud blend of modern convenience and smart devices, including a high-speed Wi-Fi router that sat quite conveniently on his bedroom dresser just 8 feet from his pillow. To Stanley, this setup made perfect sense. He liked the being connected even at night. Whether it was reading the news in bed, checking emails, or streaming music, his router was always on, always nearby. But gradually, small things began to shift. Stanley found himself forgetting where he put things. His keys, his wallet. He started mixing up appointment times and retelling the same stories to his wife, sometimes more than once in the same day. At first, he laughed it off. But then came something more alarming. Fluttering sensations in his chest, lightheadedness, and occasional dizziness that seemed to appear out of nowhere. Concerned, his family urged him to see a cardiologist. The tests, normal. His heart seemed structurally fine. But then, The doctor asked a question Stanley didn't expect. Where is your Wi-Fi router at night? That one question opened the door to a discovery Stanley never anticipated. He decided to make a few changes. He moved his router out of the bedroom, relocating it to the far end of his house, downstairs in his home office. He added a simple wall outlet timer that would automatically shut the router off at 11 p.m. and turn it back on at 7 a.m. And then something incredible happened. Within just 3 weeks, Stanley's quality of sleep noticeably improved. No more waking up in the middle of the night. The strange chest flutters disappeared. His memory started to sharpen. His wife was the first to notice he seemed more present at breakfast, more focused, more like himself again. He even started remembering their neighbors' names without any reminders. At his follow-up visit, Stanley's cognitive test scores had improved by nearly 30%. He was stunned and grateful. Stanley's story isn't unique. It's a powerful example of how even small, quiet devices like a Wi-Fi router can have an outsized effect on your health when placed too close to your sleeping space. The good news: the solution doesn't require giving up your gadgets or cutting yourself off from the digital world. You simply need to make your technology work with your biology, not against it. If your router is in or near your bedroom, it's time to consider a relocation. Move it to a different floor or at least to the farthest corner of your home. If that's not practical, do what Stanley did: use an outlet timer to power it down during the night. You don't need active Wi-Fi while you're sleeping. And if you're open to an even safer approach, consider switching to a wired Ethernet connection, especially in areas where you sleep or spend long hours. Not only does it reduce EMF exposure, but it also provides a more stable internet connection, perfect for video calls with loved ones or working from home. In our later years, the little things become more important than ever. The quality of your sleep, the sharpness of your memory, the steadiness of your heartbeat, these aren't luxuries. They're the foundation of a healthy, independent life. Your body works hard every single night to repair cells, restore balance, and protect you from long-term damage. But it can't do its job properly if it's being constantly bathed in invisible radiation while you sleep. By making this one small shift, turning off or moving your router, you give your brain the gift of peace, the silence it craves, the darkness it needs to heal. And in return, you might just experience brighter mornings, clearer thoughts, and a heart that beats with more confidence and ease. Because sometimes better health doesn't come from another prescription or another test. Sometimes it comes from simply rethinking what's sitting quietly beside your bed. There's something soothing about walking into a room that smells just right, clean floral, maybe a hint of lavender. For Virginia, a 77-year-old widow living in Florida, that comfort came from plug-in air fresheners. She used them in nearly every room of her home, especially her bedroom, where she placed one near her bed to create a relaxing nighttime atmosphere. She loved how it made her home feel warm, fresh, cared for. But over time, she began to notice something unsettling. A dry, scratchy feeling developed in her throat. Then came the coughing, persistent nagging, and strangely unshakable. She tried everything: cough syrups, herbal teas, warm honey, even a new humidifier. Yet nothing seemed to bring relief. At first, she chalked it up to seasonal allergies or simply getting older. That is until she spent a week at her daughter's house, where notably there were no plug-in air fresheners at all. To her surprise, her symptoms started to fade. The tightness in her chest eased. Her breathing felt lighter, smoother. For the first time in weeks, she woke up without a lingering cough or that uncomfortable sensation in her lungs. Her daughter, observant and concerned, gently suggested removing the plug-ins from Virginia's bedroom and common areas back home. It wasn't easy. Virginia had used them for years, and the scents had become part of her routine. But she agreed to try. Together, they placed small bowls of baking soda in each room to absorb odors naturally. Then, as a gentle alternative, they added a few cotton balls sprinkled with essential oil lavender, her favorite, but positioned them well away from her bed. Within just a few days, Virginia noticed a difference. She was breathing easier again. Her mornings felt clearer. She wasn't congested anymore. And to her surprise, she even felt more rested, like her sleep had become deeper, more restorative. At her next appointment, her pulmonologist was impressed. Her lung function, which had previously shown signs of chronic irritation, had improved significantly. But more than that, Virginia felt empowered. She had taken back control not just of her environment, but of her health. Today, scientific studies support what Virginia experienced firsthand. Electric air fresheners don't just release scent into the air. They emit a mix of chemicals, including formaldehyde, benzene, and phthalate substances that are known to irritate the respiratory system. In higher concentrations, some of these compounds have even been linked to long-term health risks. And when are you most vulnerable to these invisible toxins while you sleep? That's because during deep rest, your breathing slows. You inhale more deeply and hold each breath a little longer. This gives airborne chemicals more time to settle into your lungs and enter the bloodstream, especially in rooms where ventilation is limited. And let's not forget, these plug-in devices don't just emit chemicals. As they operate, they also produce low-level electromagnetic fields, EMFs adding yet another layer of invisible stress on the body, particularly concerning for older adults whose immune and respiratory systems are already more sensitive. So when you combine chemical exposure and EMFs in the space where your body is meant to heal, it's no wonder so many older adults struggle with disrupted sleep, chronic cough, or shallow breathing that no medicine seems to fix. The good news, you don't need to sacrifice cleanliness or comfort to breathe easier. You just need to be a bit more mindful about what's in your air, and especially what you plug in near your bed. Start by removing all electric air fresheners from your bedroom, especially those near your head. Unplug them. Discard them. Give your lungs the clean slate they deserve. Instead, opt for natural alternatives. A bowl of baking soda tucked in the corner of the room quietly absorbs odors, no smell added, nothing artificial, and no electrical output. Essential oils like lavender, cedarwood, or chamomile can still provide that cozy, relaxing atmosphere. Just place a few drops on a cotton ball and keep it across the room away from your bed. Dried herbs or flowers like rosemary, mint, or lavender buds placed in a breathable sachet can gently freshen the air without introducing chemicals or radiation. The goal is simple. Let your bedroom return to its natural, undisturbed state, a space where the air is clear, the environment is calm, and your body can truly rest without interference. You don't need a scented cloud to fall asleep peacefully. What your body really needs is clean air, stillness, and space to heal. Especially as we age, the margin for error becomes smaller. Our lungs become more sensitive, our recovery time stretches longer, and every night of deep, uninterrupted sleep becomes more important. You don't have to give up the comfort of a well-kept home. You just have to choose your comforts wisely. Because sometimes the biggest change in how you feel begins with something as small as what you plug in beside your bed. As we grow older, the way we experience comfort begins to shift. Cold nights feel colder. Our muscles tighten more quickly. And a mild evening chill that once felt refreshing now keeps us tossing and turning in search of warmth. That's why for many older adults, electric blankets and heating pads have become trusted nighttime companions. They offer instant relief, a soothing wave of warmth that calms the body and lulls us into sleep. But what if that comforting heat came with an invisible cost? What if, while wrapping ourselves in that warmth, we were also quietly wrapping ourselves in something far less healing? You see, these devices don't just emit heat. They also produce low-frequency electromagnetic fields, commonly known as EMFs, that radiate around your body the entire time they're turned on. These EMFs may be weak compared to X-rays or microwaves, but their constant proximity during sleep makes them a growing concern among scientists and sleep specialists alike. Because when you sleep, your body enters its deepest repair mode. Cells regenerate. Tissues heal. Inflammation lowers. But that process can be disrupted, especially when your entire body is lying under or against a device actively emitting EMFs for 6 to 8 hours at a time. For older adults, especially those over 65, this exposure becomes more impactful. Aging tissues are more vulnerable to oxidative stress. The immune system responds more slowly. And the body's ability to regulate inflammation becomes less efficient. It's not just warmth we're absorbing, it's stress at a cellular level, the tricky part. You might not feel it happening. You may simply wake up stiff, sore, or oddly tired. Chalk it up to just getting older. A racing heart in the early hours. A hip that throbs for no clear reason. A vague sense that your sleep just isn't as deep as it used to be. That was Dorothy's experience. Dorothy, a 75-year-old retired nurse living in the snowy hills of Minnesota, had relied on her electric blanket for over a decade. Winters there are long and bitter. That comforting warmth helped her relax into sleep night after night. She'd switch it on as she got into bed, sometimes leaving it on low until morning. At first, it seemed harmless, but gradually her sleep began to feel shallow. Her knees ached more each morning, even on days when she hadn't been very active. Then came the heart flutters, quick, irregular beats that struck when she lay still at night, leaving her anxious and wide-eyed. Her doctor ran tests, but everything looked normal. Still, Dorothy felt something wasn't quite right. Then, one evening, she came across an article on EMF exposure and aging. It mentioned electric blankets and the link to nighttime inflammation. Curious and a bit skeptical, she decided to try a change. She packed away her electric blanket and turned instead to natural solutions. She layered her bed with flannel sheets, edited a thick wool-lined comforter, and placed a soft mattress pad underneath. Before getting into bed, she warmed a cloth pouch filled with rice in the microwave and slipped it between the sheets. The gentle heat was soothing, but she made sure to remove it before falling asleep, letting the bedding hold the warmth without needing electricity. Within 3 weeks, the difference was remarkable. Her heart settled, the palpitations faded, her joints didn't feel nearly as stiff, and for the first time in months, she woke up feeling clear-headed and well-rested. Dorothy's experience isn't just anecdotal, it's backed by science. Researchers have found that prolonged exposure to EMFs, especially when the entire body is enveloped in that field, as with an electric blanket, can elevate levels of inflammatory cytokines. These are chemical messengers that signal the immune system to respond. In small doses, they help us heal. But when they stay elevated for too long, especially during rest, they create low-grade chronic inflammation. That kind of inflammation doesn't scream. It whispers. It builds slowly. And over time, it contributes to the very conditions many older adults struggle with: joint stiffness, morning fatigue, and even cardiovascular strain. It's not that electric blankets or heating pads are inherently bad. They're not. The issue lies in how they're used and how often. 8 hours a night of full-body EMF exposure might seem minor, but for an aging body already working harder to repair that background radiation adds one more layer of effort, one more stressor to navigate, one more reason your sleep might feel less healing than it used to. The good news is, warmth doesn't have to come at the cost of your health. Natural insulation holds heat beautifully. Materials like wool, flannel, and fleece are designed to trap your own body warmth, creating a cozy cocoon without needing to plug anything in. For added comfort on especially cold nights, consider pre-warming your bed. A hot water bottle placed at your feet can keep your lower body warm for hours. A microwave-safe heating pad filled with rice or flaxseed can deliver gentle heat exactly where you need it. Just remember, remove the heat source before falling asleep. Let the bed do the rest. And if you absolutely must use an electric heating device, try this. Turn it on 10-15 minutes before bedtime. Let it warm the sheets. Then unplug it before climbing in. That way you get the benefit of the heat without being exposed to EMFs throughout the night. Sleep isn't just a luxury in our later years. It's your body's most powerful form of natural medicine. And you deserve every peaceful drop of it. As we get older, our bodies become more sensitive. Not just to illness or injury, but to subtle stressors that often go unnoticed. And strangely enough, many of these hidden disruptors aren't lurking outside the home. They're resting quietly, right beside your bed. You see, most people don't realize that things like digital alarm clocks, Wi-Fi routers, plug-in air fresheners, cell phones, charging on the nightstand, and even electric blankets, while convenient, are quietly releasing invisible energy called electromagnetic fields, or EMFs. They don't buzz, they don't glow, but your body feels them, especially at night, when it's most vulnerable and trying to heal. Now I know what you might be thinking. How can something so small affect me? But here's the thing. As we age, our body's natural defenses slow down. The cells that used to bounce back quickly now take longer to recover. Sleep becomes lighter. And anything, even something as seemingly innocent as a glowing clock or a phone left too close, can quietly interfere with your body's ability to rest, restore, and repair. For seniors, these effects can show up as more than just a poor night's sleep. You might feel groggy in the morning, forget things more often, wake up with stiff joints, or feel anxious without knowing why. These aren't just signs of aging. Sometimes they're your body's way of saying, I need a break from the noise, even the invisible kind. But here's the beautiful part. You don't need to fear your bedroom. You just need to rethink it. Imagine this by simply moving your phone to the dresser instead of the nightstand, or switching off the Wi-Fi before bed, or or unplugging that air freshener across the room. You can begin to create a space your body truly feels safe in. A space that whispers, you can relax now. A space where your brain can slow down, where your heart finds its rhythm again, where healing isn't blocked, but welcomed. It doesn't take a renovation, just a little awareness and a few small loving choices. Because every night is a gift, an opportunity to restore what the day took from you. And your body, even now, still knows how to heal, if you simply give it the space. You've come this far with so much strength, grace, and resilience. So let your bedroom finally reflect that. Make it a place of calm, of safety, of gentle energy. A place that honors you. Thank you for spending this moment with me today. I hope this video helped you see your bedroom in a new light, not just as a room with furniture, but as a space for peace. A place that can nurture your sleep, protect your mind, and renew your energy each night. Because sometimes, it's the smallest objects, a charger, a light, a little device, humming in the corner that can have the biggest impact on how we sleep, how we think, and how we feel the next morning. But here's the good news, you're in control. With just a few gentle changes, you can create a bedroom that truly supports your health and honors the deep rest you deserve every single night. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever kept any of these items in your bedroom? What's one small change you're ready to make tonight to protect your sleep and your energy? Leave a comment below, or simply write the word HOPE if this video gave you a new perspective or brought you a little encouragement. If you found this helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and click the little bell so you never miss a future health tip made just for you. And if you know a friend or loved one over 60 who might benefit from this, please consider sharing this video. It could help them sleep more soundly and wake up with a clearer mind and a lighter heart. Until next time, may your nights be deeply restful, your mornings bright, and your spirits surrounded by peace. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you again very soon.